Okay, thank you. Hi, everybody. I wish you all a good afternoon and good evening. And yeah, as you said, it's getting late here. I'm at the moment currently located in Turkey. It's almost midnight. Yeah, let me start with my presentation. My name is Ünsal Ilhan, and I'm a senior IM consultant at IC Consult. Based in Switzerland. And today I'm gonna present you how to evaluate or pre-evaluate the impact of an assignment rule change before the changes are applied and provisioned. So let me start with the agenda for the next 30 minutes. First of all, some words about me and my company. Then the motivation, what was the reason or what was the trigger to build such a pre-evaluation for an assignment rule change on a role. Then the required configurations for this feature. Then a deep dive to the artifacts. We will have a look on the XML extensions and then the Java implementations behind it. Then I will do a live demo where I will install the plugin and the configurations and show you how the output of the evaluation looks like. After the demo, short talk about the possible improvements and enhancements and the topics to be kept in mind because not everything is covered with our implementation. And after my presentation, I will answer your questions in the channels or in the chats. So about me, I'm working at IC Consult in Switzerland more than 8 years. And actually, my first working day was training on IdentityIQ. So I'm also working with IdentityIQ more than 8 years and with SailPoint products. I have experience also with Identity Now. I had a training for the file access manager, but not yet included in a project, unfortunately. My role in the company is I'm acting as a solution architect and project lead, and currently I'm also the center of excellence for SailPoint in Switzerland. I'm married, 44 years old, and my hobbies are basketball and traveling. Some words to my company. IC Consult is headquarters in Germany. We have more than 25 years experience in the field of identity and access management. We are a vendor-independent consultancy and system integrator for IAM solutions, and our portfolio covers from advisory, design to implementation, integration, and managed services. We have more than 800 employees in more than 12 countries. That's for the introduction. Yeah, the motivation and why we built this feature is, if you change assignment rule on a role, you actually don't know what will be the impact, and you don't know which users will get assigned the role, the permission, and which users will lose the role. And yeah, the trigger for that was actually one customer where the customer changed the logic and used an AND operation instead of an OR operation. And the impact was that hundreds of accounts got deprovisioned that permission. And imagine that was not so funny. And and then we thought about pre-evaluating or checking it in a production environment if you change the assignment rule. So changing an assignment rule on a production could be fatal. So what you have, typical mistakes are you can have typos, missing brackets, quotes, or the incorrect use of an AR or operations, like in our case, or even if you copy paste. You could have some special characters, or you forget something, and I can say all of them happened. And another reason is, the operators, the users of the tool are not always motivated to test the changes, test the rules on a lower environments. They have sometimes time pressures. Everything should be done fast and it's required immediately. And last but not least, in low environments, we seldom have the production data or the same state of the production data. So it's not guaranteed that your tests will show you the same result as in a production environment. Okay, let's jump. This feature we have built it up as a plugin, actually, for the developer days to have a fast delivery as a showcase. We tested it on IQ 8.2 and 8.3. It's available then in the channel, which you can download and play around with that plugin. But actually, we recommend that not implement as a plugin, just use workflow libraries or the workflow extensions which are required for this feature. Let's have a look. The configuration that is required is actually under IdentityIQ settings. If you go to the roles tab, we have the business process for role creation, update, and delete. There we have extended the original workflow for the owner approval with 2 additional steps, and the new business process is called owner approval with rule impact. After you have installed the plugin, you have to adjust here the business process to the new workflow. Okay, let's have a look on the 2 steps that I just mentioned that we extended in the standard workflow. So the first step is the prepare rule impact step. And there we have a transition check in the step in the previous step where we evaluate whether there are any changes regarding an assignment rule. If there are any changes, then we step into our first step, the prepare rule impact step. And here the changes are evaluated, and the result of it is stored in an own variable called impact of role change rendered. The output is actually 2 HTML tables. The first HTML table lists all the identities that will get assigned the role, and the second HTML table, lists all the identities which will lose that role. And in this step, we have also configuration, how these HTML tables should look like. I mean, we have the header names. It's the first one. Here I only have 3 columns at the moment with the attribute names that should be shown in this table. And it's also possible to do a sorting based on the identity attributes that are configured here. So this configuration has a result how the HTML table looks like. And the output is then shown in the step. It's an approval step. In our case here, it's the launcher itself who gets the approval. For our customer, we had a 2-step approval where several people had to approve the change. But here we kept it simple, so the launcher has to approve it and will see actually what is the impact of the change. And what do we see actually in the form is the the current rule and the new rule, how it looked like. So you have the possibility to compare what is the change, and then the impact analysis with the two HTML tables and also some summary. Yeah. So the evaluation is not done in the approval to avoid any performance issues if you open the approval, or if we have multi-step approvals, not to calculate the changes every time. So we did it in the first step and prepared the output of the impact, and here we actually now showing it. Yes, those are the steps. Now we can have a deeper look into the Java code. To the interesting parts, the step transition check. In the transition check, whether an evaluation is needed, we use the role lifecycle. The role lifecycle has a method called diff, where you pass two parameters. The first one is the existing bundle, the current bundle with the current rule, and then you also pass the new bundle with the new rule which has a change. And there you get the bundle difference. And from the bundle difference, you can call the get selector difference, where you then see whether there are any changes regarding the assignment rule. So if this is not empty, that means there is some change, and we step into our next step, and where we evaluate and prepare the output. The rendering of the approval, there we have actually the following steps, or the following code calculations. First, we get all the identities that has the role assigned currently based on the identity entitlements of the user. Then next we check we check which identities will get the role with the new rule. And here we use the matchmaker with its method isMatch, so that we have a list of all the identities that should get this the rule with the new changes. And then we prepare the output with the two HTML tables. And the first HTML table shows us the identities which will get the role, and the second HTML table shows us which will lose it. And the sorting of these tables are done with Apache's immutable pair implementation. Okay, now I want to jump to the demo. This is my demo environment. I hope it was a typo. Yes. And let me check. Okay, I have to install the plugin. Good, it's now installed. And yeah, now we have to do the configuration for the business process, which is then located in the global settings, IdentityIQ configuration, and roles tab. Here we have now our extended business process with the rule impact. This is the only configuration which we have to do after the plugin installation. So now we can check the rule impact. I've created one role for the demo, And here I have used actually a simple match list where I say, okay, the location is London or the location is Munich. All the people from London and Munich will get assigned this role. So let's see what is the impact, or if I change it. For example, now I say, okay, not Munich, all the people from Austin should get the role, or if he is located in London. Then if I submit, as shown in the code, the approver is the launcher. So as admin, as SP admin, I will get the approval, the work item. And in this form, now I have the possibility to review the impact of the change. So in the form, there is one section. The first section shows the rule, the actual rule, which was London and Munich, and the new rule, we see it's London or Austin. So then there is a short summary. The rule adds the role to 40 identities. The rule removes the rule from 25 identities. So we see, okay, this is the first table, HTML table, where we see that all the people from Austin will get assigned the role. And now the second table is we see, that all the people from Munich will lose the role. So actually looks fine, and we could apply this impact. But for now, I want to reject it and choose another rule type or rule type for this role. I mean, role. Instead of a match list, I want to use a script because I'm a developer and I prefer to code. So I say this time I actually want to assign the role only to the people from London. They should keep it, and all the people from Munich should lose the role. So I say identity get attribute location equals to London. Yeah, all the people from London should get it, and the rest should lose it actually. So now I submit. Okay, let's have a look to the output, to the impact. So we expect actually that all the people from Munich lose it and the rest keeps it. So we again see the actual and the new rule. And this time we see, okay, the rule removes the role from 50 identities. And now we can see, oh, it removes also from the people in London, which is actually something that we don't want. And yeah, then we can have a look in our rule. And here, if we look deeper, we see, okay, we have a typo. Instead of get string attribute, I typed string attribute, which is not correct. Okay, that's not fine. So I reject it this time. And yeah, if I reject, that means also the script is gone and the rule has the match list again. So means I have to type in again my code. I hope I don't have a typo this time. Let's see. Let's jump to the approval again. Okay, now I see, okay, the rule is removed only from 25 identities, and I see, okay, it's removed from all the users that are located in Munich. So this is fine, and now I can say apply the impact. So if this step is finished, then the standard role owner approval is the next step. So the role owner gets also an approval for the change, and he also sees that there was some modification regarding the rule. And yeah, I have to forward it to me, so it's applied. It's okay, so that I can approve it. Okay, so yeah, actually with the approval, and if we start then a new identity refresh, all the changes will be applied, and the users from Munich will lose their permission. Good. What I also want to show is if we use for the assignment rule a rule as object or population, I've prepared a rule called location is London or Austin. Let's see how this looks like in the approval. Yeah, so in the first section we see the actual rule, we see the code, and for the new rule, actually if we use a rule object or a population, we only see the name of the rule or the name of the location, and we don't see the code behind it. But if you want to check it, you can check it then in the debug or directly on the role role itself. So okay, I'll just also say this is fine, this change. Yeah, and with the owner approval, actually everything is finished, and with the next identity refresh, or everything should be then applied. Good. That's actually from the demo. For the demo, jump back to my slides. Yeah, I mean, there are also some improvements possible. I mean, we don't have that much identities for that customer where we implemented that, so we had no performance issues. So in case you have a lot of identities or users in your IQ installation, you could use SQL statements instead of query options. Yeah, and what you also could do is to move the Java code to the workflow library and use the extension of the workflow itself, and instead of using this feature as plugin. And topics to keep in mind is the changes. Only the changes might made directly via the role editor triggers the impact evaluation, and you see the output actually only if you do it via the role editor. And if you have any changes done in Git and deployed it to your production environment, this will not be detected. There you don't have any form or any approval. This will not be detected. The same applies actually also for the changes via the debug page. If you change any rule, script, or a population directly from the debug page, this will also not be not detected. And yeah, this you should be that aware of it if you use this feature. Okay. So I will answer the questions afterwards in the channel. And yeah, the slides and the plugin are available in the channel and the SailPoint community channel. And yeah, that's actually from my side. Thank you very much. Wish you a nice day.